This is Miss Briscoe here with our math lesson for today. So you're going to want to print out these math notes that are above the lesson if you have not already done so. So pause the video and print out your math notes so you can complete them as we work our way through it. So today our learning goal is I can find the product of a fraction and a whole number without using a model. Now we did a little bit of this yesterday. I taught you with a model and I also taught you without a model. So we're just going to be reviewing the strategy without a model, just using multiplication. So if you notice, we're finding the product of 5 times 3/8. And this is the way that it looks just having the fraction vertical, 5 times 3/8. Now remember we talked yesterday, this is the same thing as saying what is 3/8 of 5? The way that you find that is you multiply. So the first step is to take your problem and you multiply your whole number by your numerator. So 5 times 3, which equals 15, and then you just carry over your denominator. So the answer to 5 times 3/8 is 15 over 8. Then you need to check and see, does it need to be simplified? And I know that there is no number that can go into both 8 and 5 evenly. And an easy way to check is just to list out the factors for each number. So the factors for 15 are 1, 3, 5, and 15. 15 times 1 equals 15 and 3 times 5 equal 15. The factors for 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. And if you notice, they only have 1 in common. If I were to divide this and simplify it by 1, I'd still get the same answer. So this is in simplest form. So my answer is 15 over 8. So let me go ahead and show you one more problem, and then I'm going to let you do one on your own. So 3/5 times 11. So that way I would write it by 3/5 times 11. So I multiply my numerator by my whole number. 3 times 11 is 33, and then I carry over my denominator. Well, I know that 5 does not go into 33, so this is in simplest form. However, I want to show you guys another way that you can write something in simplest form, and the same goes for up here. I will take this as simplest form, but if you notice, the numerator is larger than the denominator. That means that this is an improper fraction. So with improper fractions, we can turn them into mixed numbers. So the way that you want to do this is you want to figure out how many times does 5 go into 33. Well, I know that 5 times 6 equals 30. So that means that 5 can go into 33 6 whole times because I can divide that. So what I want to do is I want to know, okay, if I take 30 away and turn it into a whole number, how many do I have left? So 33 minus 30 equals 3. That's going to be the top number of my new fraction, and I'm going to carry over my denominator. So you can see that I can either have the simplest form of an improper fraction or the simplest form of a mixed number. And I can go ahead and show you that up here with this one. 15/8. Well, I know that 8 only goes into 15 one time, one whole time. So if I take 8 away from 15, I'm going to get 7. So the top number of my fraction is 7 and the bottom is 8. So I could have 15/8 or 1 7/8. Both of those answers are acceptable, but practice writing it in a mixed number. So what I want you to do is pause the video and try to answer 24 times 3/4 for me. Okay, hopefully you paused the video and you were able to multiply 24 times 3/4. So let's go ahead and check to see if you were correct. So what we want to do is we want to multiply our numerator and our whole number, 24 times 3. So I'm going to do 24 times 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So my top number of my new fraction is 72, and my bottom number is going to be 4. So then what you need to do is you need to decide, okay, is this in simplest form? No, it's not in simplest form, and I know that for a fact because I know that 2 can go into both 4 and 72. So let me divide them each by 2. And so I'm just going to say, okay, 4 divided by 2 equals 2, and 72 divided by 2 equals 36. It's still not in simplest form, so I can divide by 2 again because they're both even numbers. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 36 divided by 2 is 18. that is an improper fraction that is simplified. Now, if I wanted to turn that into a mixed number or a whole number, I know any number over 1 just equals that number. So it could be 18 over 1 or 18. So hopefully you got either one of those answers. So the last problem that I want to show you is a little bit of an algebraic problem. It's a little bit of problem solving where you're going to have to use critical thinking. So this is like saying x over 2 times 8. Okay, so I'm sorry, I wrote that wrong. What you want to do is this should equal 8. So what it should look like is x over 2 equals 8. And they want to know, what does x equal? So this is going to come back to your thinking of, okay, when I'm working on simplifying problems, we're going to be doing the opposite of simplifying. So what we want to look at is now we have a fraction that's 8 over 1. Because remember, any number over 1 is just that number. So 8 over 1, how did I get from 8 over 1 back to this? Well, if I look at my bottoms, the only way to get 1 to a 2 is to multiply it by 2. Well, what you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So if I were to figure out what x was, my bottom was 1 times 2 equals 2. Well, 8 times 2 equals 16. So x equals 16. The way that you can check this is you can say, okay, well, let's take this fraction and simplify it. They're both even numbers. They can be divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 16 divided by 2 is 8, which equals 8. So that's a way that you can do a little bit of an algebraic expression. So you guys can replay this video as much as you need, and then go ahead on to the practice for today's lesson.